Okay, so in this video we're going to discuss both the Pontic Anatomic and the Pontic framework. Now the situations that you would use these are in the Pontic Anatomic as if you were making a full contour bridge, whether that's in a temporary material, if you're making a full contour Emax bridge, or a full contour TZI or Bruxier bridge. You're going to use the anatomic Pontic. Okay, the times you're going to use the Pontic framework are as if you're obviously making a frame. So if you're making a zirconia framework that's going to be layered or pressed to, or milling it out of a CAD wax or acryl CAD that you're going to actually cast into metal. So they're very simple parameters. We'll go ahead and quickly click on Pontic Anatomic Global Parameters. And again, just like the biogeneric crowns, you have anterior basic shape, which you can turn to yes to unlock the basic shape, and then you can switch this to again juvenile, adult, or some of the other databases teeth for interiors. Usually I have this turned to no. I like to use the straight biogeneric. The same with posterior. If you want to go into a database tooth, you don't like the biogeneric proposal, you certainly have the choice to do that, but again usually I keep it to no. The second is just like the crowns, the proximal contact strength, which I usually leave at plus 25, the occlusal contact strength, which I like at minus 25, and then the next two are unique to Pontics, which is gingival spacing. Basically, 0 would mean that you want that Pontic right at the level of the tissue. I generally do not like that. I generally like to push it maybe 300 or 400 microns into the tissue, which gives me a little bit of room to put some pressure. The last thing that I want is actually to have a space there, or something that doesn't look like it's emerging from the tissue, having a little ridge. Actually, when we go into bridge design, what I really do is, instead of having a ridge lap type of Pontic, I use my circular shape tool and make that a little bit more ovate. So it's really putting pressure on that tissue for emergence profile and to keep the food out of there. The last parameter is lingual opening, and this is kind of an old school type of Pontic if you want to open up the lingual. I typically never do this, but if you wanted to, you could certainly open the lingual opening angle. Okay, so going to the Pontic framework, when you're just constructing a framework, there's really not a whole lot to do. You don't need any of those full contour parameters. It's simply gingival spacing, gingival opening angle. Now, depending on what type of Pontic you're doing is probably going to depend on the gingival spacing. If you're doing a metal, typically you're going to build porcelain underneath that Pontic, so you may want to keep that maybe even positive. Or if you're doing a zirconia or Emax or something like that, a frame, and you actually want it into the tissue, you can choose to do that as well. More or less for dentists, this is going to be a unique application. You're not going to be making too many bridge frameworks. Lingual opening angle, again, is that angle. So that covers really both of the parameters for the Pontic Anatomic and Pontic framework, and we'll start with the multi-layer parameters next video.